Good evening, everybody. It's Connor from the HooperCast. This is the Quick Pick. Thanks for joining me today. Real quick, we have a full show on YouTube. It looks like that. The YouTube the channel name is HooperCast. Just go look there. Please subscribe and help us get to 1,000 so we can be monetized again. That would be lovely to be out of timeout. That's all I'll say about that. We're going to talk about some box office numbers today. Just a quick little side note, because now that I'm seeing myself on camera, I'm realizing that this might come up. I am wearing a Nike jacket, and it's not a Colin Kaepernick thing. I literally just figured out that right before I was recording, I was wearing an undershirt, and I couldn't find my regular hoodie I zip on and so I grabbed this one, and then I sat down and started recording just now, and I'm too lazy to start the recording over again. So, we're just going to look sporty today, and that's really all we're going to say about it. Okay, so last weekend, here's what the box office looked like. The Nun was number one. And Peppermint came in at number 2, a distant second, with $13 million to The Nun's $53 million. And Crazy Rich Asians hung on to the number 3 spot. Hung on to the number 3 spot. And at $300,000 shy of the number 2 spot to Peppermint's opening weekend. So my prediction was that this past weekend, you would have The Predator opening at number 1, The Nun slip down to number 2, and White Boy Rick would overtake Crazy Rich Asians and debut at number 3. I didn't do too bad. Here are the numbers. The Predator did, in fact, open at number 1 with $24 million. The Nun fell 66% to $18 million for its second week, but it still beat out the number 3 spot. The number 3 spot was not White Boy Rick. It was A Simple Favor, which is this Paul Feig movie that's with Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick. That's kind of a departure for Paul Feig, but I listened to some people talking about it today on YouTube, and it actually seems really interesting. Regardless, White Boy Rick debuted at number 4 with $8.8 million, which is pretty bad. It's a $29 million budget. That's not a good opening for that film. And really, The Predator, I think that's probably a disappointing opening for The Predator. Their budget was $88 million, and they're opening at a little bit shy of $25 million. That's not good either. I'm getting mixed reviews for The Predator. It seemed like it was, not really a slam dunk critically. Still seemed to be enough of a draw to get people out there for opening weekend. We'll see how it does next week. I'm actually really curious about that. So those are the numbers. Nothing too shocking there. I guess I thought White Boy Rick would do better, but I don't think I looked into a simple favor. And even then, I don't think I wouldn't have assumed it would be more appealing to a broad audience than White Boy Rick. But hey, things happen. This weekend, although that could knock any of these out of the top 3. If you look at what's opening this weekend, we have, it looks like 12 films anywhere around these United States. So I looked at 3/4 of these. So the first one on this list, obviously, is Fahrenheit 11/9. It's a Michael Moore documentary, his latest documentary. He famously directed a film called Fahrenheit 9/11 about a bunch of September 11th conspiracy theories, and I think he's a big old douchebag. However, his documentaries are very popular, and it doesn't surprise me at all that they would get a big theatrical release. And the critics seem to like this one. It's got 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that is nothing to sneeze at. That is a seriously good rating, especially for a documentary. Those tend to be kind of divisive, especially Michael Moore. I'm surprised it's that high, but it's about Donald Trump. 11/9, if you hadn't guessed, is election day. And So that's why is this sized like this? Can we please fix that? Thank you. It's bugging me. Jeez. Okay. So yeah, 11/9 was election day. So this is all about the Trump administration. Need I say more? Don't think a lot of people down here in Alabama are going to see that, but, other parts of the country, that's probably a different story. I don't even know if it's opening down here. I didn't put my zip code into Fandango, so for all I know, it's not even showing in Mobile or the Eastern Shore, but it could be. Who knows? Plot synopsis. Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 11/9 is a provocative and comedic look at the times in which we live. I've never found Michael Moore funny. I doubt it's a comedic look. Comedic. To me, it seems like comedic seems like a cheat. Like it's almost like you say comedic in case like you make factual errors or like, not too acceptable satire. Cause then you can just go, oh, well, it's a comedic look. Like, oh no, you just took a shot and you missed. But nevertheless, at the times in which we live, it will explore the two most important questions of the Trump era. This could be good. How the F did we get here and how the F do we get out? It's the film to see before it's too late. So obviously those statements, you can agree or disagree that those are the two most important questions of the Trump era. I would argue, are things better or worse? and what do I don't know what the other question is, I guess. Maybe that's a double question. Anyways, this film is I think his intentions are very clear. So if you are into Michael Moore and his goings on, then Fahrenheit 11/9 has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. Then again, I'm not shocked at that rating. I feel like, Hollywood and film industry critics can be very kind to the documentary. There's not gonna be a whole lot of dissent for Michael Moore's films on the pages of any critic publication. Another movie out this weekend is The House with a Clock in Its Walls, directed by Eli Roth, starring Jack Black, Cate Blanchett. It wouldn't let me watch the trailer for this. No, it would. It wouldn't let me watch the trailer for Michael Moore's movie. I just okay. What I see here. I will say that there's no Rotten Tomatoes score. So this, I don't know this, but I wonder if it wasn't screened for critics. And I'm going to go out on a further limb here. When movies don't screen for critics, that's generally not a good sign. Mostly just because, the assumption is if you're confident in your film's, quality, you just screen it because you're like, hey, they're gonna like it because the film's awesome. Whenever a film does not screen for critics, I always get this feeling like, oh, why? What are you trying to hide? So I don't know the synopsis to this film. As a young New York couple goes from college romance. No, sorry, that's for another film. Whoops. Where's the synopsis? Is it up here? Nope, I just did it twice. Okay, well, I don't know what this film's about. It looks very bland and strange, and I just doesn't pique my interest. Another film though that does is Life Itself. Ignore that is an advertisement. It is not the trailer. That's the advertisement before the trailer. Ignore the shirtless Islander men swinging torches of fire. I don't even know what that's for. Like Cirque du Soleil or something, some kind of stage show. It looks pretty wild, but it has nothing to do with this film. This is a super generic looking poster. I will say it's one of those where you got the couple staring at each other close, and then you've got some old person in the gray beard, and you've got some young girl with some dyed hair. This film, here's the synopsis, okay? As a young New York couple goes from college romance to marriage and the birth of their first child, the unexpected twists of their journey create reverberations that echo over continents and through lifetimes. So that sounds oddly like what Cloud Atlas was. That reminds me vaguely of like what people were saying about Cloud Atlas. It was like a bunch, it's 6 stories like throughout lifetimes and universes. And so I don't know if that's what's going on here. I do see characters with different appearances throughout this. So I don't know if just time is passing and they're changing their look, or if it's supposed to be like a different universe, but like the same soul type of thing. I don't know what's going on here. What I do know is that I like this cast and I like the people involved. The director is Dan Fogelman, who created This Is Us on NBC, which is a very popular and very, melodramatic yet emotional show that a lot of people, and probably you if you're listening, are really into. And it stars Oscar Isaac, Olivia Wilde, Mandy Patinkin, Antonio Banderas, Annette Bening, Olivia Cook, Leia Costa. A really talented cast. Dan Fogelman, and especially after seeing this trailer, I have no doubt that this is a very emotional and really really resonant film. At least that obviously it's their intention to be that way. But here's what baffles me. So this, according to Fandango, right now the rating for this film is 21%. So not only does the film have a rotten rating, it has like a low rating. So that confuses me, because this really, of all these movies I'm talking about coming out this weekend, this looks like the one I'd most want to see. So it bothers me that my instincts are possibly that bad that I'm most interested in the film that probably has the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score. It's like I don't want to see Michael Moore's film, which has a 92%, but I do want to see Life Itself, which has a 21%. So I don't know what to make of this. It'll be interesting how it does. I don't know that it'll be a big crowd pleaser to get people out, in the theater. But it looks like something I want to check out, unless I hear it's super terrible, which, maybe it is. There would be the 21% on Rotten Tomato, but that trailer looked so good, and the performances looked really good and meaningful. It just looks like something I would like. So I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore, guys. The world's full of uncertainty. The tail end of this, I doubt this is opening in many theaters in Mobile, maybe one or two. This documentary called Love, Gilda. Documentary about the private life of Gilda Radner, who, if you're too young to know who she is, she was one of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live. She was married to Gene Wilder, who, if you're too young to remember Gilda Radner, you would know Gene Wilder because he's Willy Wonka, and not Johnny Depp. I'm talking about the original Willy Wonka, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, I should have done. I should have attached a picture of that meme of Willy Wonka just sort of leaning and doing the whole, "Oh, really? You can do that? Tell me more about your skills." You would know the meme if you saw it, where he's just leaning there on his fist and he's looking away like, "Oh, okay. So you think you can do all this? All right, tell me more about your skills." So that's Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka, and why don't you know who Gene Wilder is? Honestly, I saw Silver Streak when I was in like 7th grade. That's a film I never would have known to see. And that was my introduction to Richard Pryor. Silver Streak with Gene Wilder and Richard. Get some culture in your life. Silver Streak is a great film. Gene Wilder's a great actor. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is a great film. So is Blazing Saddles. I'm getting pissed off. She was married to him until she died. She died really tragically. I can't remember the year. It was soon after SNL. If it wasn't in the late 70s, it was in like 1981. Like, she died incredibly young. I think she was like 35 or something. And she had some form of cancer, I believe. I should have looked all this up, but it was sad. And especially because Gilda Radner on SNL was always so just magnetic and a delight to watch. All the characters she played, she just played it with just this innocent joy of performing and, making people laugh, I guess. And I don't know. I always liked seeing Gilda Radner. There's some sketches on the original SNL I couldn't get behind. But whenever I saw Gilda Radner, I always just smiled seeing her face, because she was just one of those people who you saw and you're like, oh, good, Gilda Radner's on stage. This is going to be a good sketch. And obviously I can't imagine what she meant to the other castmates, friends, of course, her husband, Gene Wilder. Yeah, so I would be interested to see this documentary as well. This has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a really good, fresh rating. Honestly, if you're going to go see a film this weekend, a documentary this weekend in theaters, if you're in a larger city, I would almost, I'll bet my bottom dollar that you would you would be coming out of Love, Gilda a lot more optimistic and happier and more fulfilled than you might coming out of Fahrenheit 11/9. And that's not because I don't like Michael Moore. It's just because I don't get the sense that you're going to walk out of Fahrenheit 11/9 and go, wow, I feel great. Like, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, if you are a Trump supporter and you find yourself into that film, you're going to go, oh, I'm angry and we should find Michael Moore's house and burn it down. And if you are, on the other side of the political aisle from Donald Trump, or, from conservative, whatever you are, if you don't like Trump, you're not going to come out of the documentary smiling. You're still going to come out and go, oh, see this, it's just as bad as I thought it was, but what are we going to do about it? No one's going to come out of that movie satisfied. And I don't think many of us go to the movies to be put on edge. So, I would wager that between these two documentaries that you're going to be happier coming out of Love, Gilda, just because she was just such a happy, positive person. And, I had no idea that she was ill. And, I don't know if she ever performed after she was diagnosed or while ill, but, I just saw a happy performer, and I had no idea there was a sick person under there. So yeah, that's kind of what those. So, okay, so how do we think this will affect the box office numbers? I don't know, because none of those films are. They're all so different from what's in the top three right now. I'm gonna guess, and I don't know how wide those open. I know that Life Itself is going to open wide. I think Life Itself maybe gets number 3, but I'm thinking the Predator. Ooh, you know what could happen? I wonder if The Nun could come back to number. No. I think. Okay, here's my prediction for next week. I am out of my element here. I don't know what's going to happen. I think Life Itself debuts at number 3, knocks A Simple Favor out, but I think The Predator remains at number 1, and The Nun stays at number 2. That's what I think. That's my prediction. That's what it's going to be. Okay, go to the YouTube page, subscribe to the show, yeah, just keep watching, and join us for the full episodes of our show, the HooperCast Movie Hour, whatever we're calling it now, and we stream part of the show on the first Wednesday of the month on Facebook Live. But the full episodes are definitely here on the YouTube page or on Facebook if you want to see it on Fridays. But if you want to see it sooner, you should go to the YouTube page. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, listening. Have a good week, everybody. See some good movies. And we will see you on the other side of the week. Goodbye.